What's up everyone, Jay here, and it's October. So that means we're gonna do some fun stuff today using BeQuiet and
Hello!
Kevin from BeQuiet. The XG2736 and the XG2536 gaming monitors from Viewsonic feature 240Hz default refresh rates, 1 millisecond response time mode, and industry-leading 0.5 millisecond moving picture response time modes that are ideal for gamers demanding a competitive edge. Designed with eSports in mind, these XG monitors feature fully adjustable and low-profile footprint stand for optimal viewing distance that professional gamers demand. To learn more about the XG2736 1440p and XG2536 1080p competitive gaming panels from Viewsonic, follow the link in the description below. Okay, so in all seriousness, this is Kevin from BeQuiet. We've been working together for a while. You guys have seen the BeQuiet stuff on our channel, more notably our wind wall. It's the best way to put it. They didn't even know about that. I just did it. That's why they were like, oh, did Jay do that on his own? And you were like, yes.
Yeah.
He did that on his own. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of have some fun today. We're gonna build a system. We're gonna talk about some of the BeQuiet parts, some of the design philosophy behind it, some of the German heritage stuff. It kind of fits with me. I'm actually, believe it or not, my mom's from Germany. She was born in Munich. And so I thought that'd be kind of fun, you know, talk about some German stuff and whatnot. So let's just sort of start this off the right way. What do we got over here? We got a Pilsner.
We have a Pilsner, obviously, and then we have a lager, both premium. Can you pronounce that for me? Where's that from?
Weihenstephaner.
Yes. Yeah, one more time for me, because I know I'll butcher it.
It's a premium Bavaricum. So if you guys partake along with us. If you don't, then pour the best water that you have. Or near beer, or apple juice, or milk. I don't know, milk. All right, jinx my milk Coke. A little bit more head than I'm used to, but you know what they say in Germany. Prost. All right, so let's start with the cases here. So you said this is the Light Base 600 and Light Base 900?
Correct. These are our fresh, brand new releases that came out from BeQuiet just actually probably a couple days ago. This is the 600.
I saw these at TwitchCon. I was walking by and I hadn't seen them yet, and I'm like, what are these? I know right now you guys are like, it's just another 011 copy. It's a dual chamber fish tank. It's not. There's actually something that exists in these chassis, which I've always said, why aren't companies doing it? And BeQuiet's doing it. So why don't you explain what that is? We'll use the 600.
So the 600 is going to be a little bit smaller size, but the whole thought...
I think it's pretty average, but...
Yeah, well, you know. Anyway, so BeQuiet obviously came out with the Light Base because, yes, we needed a fish tank style case. We needed to be able to show off all the cool things on the inside.
It's fair to say that dual chamber like this has become the new industry standard design.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, you know, and everybody's coming out with their own models.
But this is BeQuiet's first dual chamber.
Exactly.
Okay.
And as you might already know, BeQuiet cases are infamous for being able to be inverted. And this one is just the same, just like any of the others. So on top of all of the other features that come with it, which Jay has already pulled apart, the top, the back panel.
What are those rubber things, Kevin?
What are those? So on the bottom side of the case here, you can see that we have feet on the bottom.
And inverted.
And
it's
inverted.
not that easy.
It's done. No. So the case feet, actually you just do a half turn and they come right off. And if you wanted to lay it on its side or on its back, you can just pop off the removable rubber grommets that are on the back there, and then install these case feet on the back side of the case.
So it allows you to take it from a vertical dual chamber and lay it on its back, although it's a bigger footprint, but now it's more of like a test bench kind of a layout.
Correct, yeah.
And because the back is fully ventilated, this motherboard tray, reverse fan, by the way, these are reverse blade fans if you haven't noticed on the camera, can pull in plenty of air through the backside here, including the power supply.
Absolutely. So that was one of...
That was what caught my attention at TwitchCon. I'm like, why are these laying on their back? Oh, somebody finally made a lay down dual chamber.
Exactly. And so we wanted to make it so if you wanted that old school home theater PC style case that some of us all remember, you can... Yeah. Just like that. And that took me, what, 30 seconds? 40 seconds to do that whole thing. So now it's laying flat. We've got the dust panel off of the front there, but you can basically put those feet, whether it's on the side layout, the horizontal layout, or vertical.
Now the motherboard tray doesn't move, right? This is a locked position.
Correct, yeah. So the motherboard tray doesn't move, but if you do invert it, remember all your hardware is now going to be upside down. Yeah. So regardless of which orientation you want it on your desk, you now have the ability to choose.
I feel like it's pretty easy to line these up on this one here with the panel. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the feet though, there's a little bit of sliding in there. You know what I think would be neat though? is if BeQuiet released an STL for this that would allow you to maybe customize the height if you wanted more airflow and stuff. Or let's say this was to somehow break or something. It'd be neat if users at home could print their own feet.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, especially when you have a lot of the modding community that wants to, not necessarily just build something that's normal, but they want to go and make it their own, right? Yeah. So now you can have claws, you could have, I don't know, Lego brick type feet.
Yeah, you could just change it. Because you come from PC modding background. Absolutely. So this is like, you're like me, this is kind of, you look at this and you go, wow, how could we change it? Yeah. This is great. What can we do differently now?
I mean, that's what modding's all about, right? I mean, whether it's your home, it's your car, it's your PC, it's all kind of the same.
I think one thing to point out though, if we end up reviewing this case or doing our own build later, it is only a 90-degree turn. So it doesn't go in like a 360 all the way around, so don't force it.
Correct.
It is just plastic. So if you force it too hard, that could potentially damage.
It definitely will break. I mean, it is extruded plastic, right? I mean, it's cast plastic. And so sometimes on the top and the bottom, it can be a little bit difficult to find the actual spot for it. But just my best advice is to not force it.
Were these announced at Computex?
They were. Okay. Yes, they were.
That's why they're new to me, because I didn't make it this year.
Yeah, see? Well, next time you gotta come. It'll be great. It'll be so much fun.
So I guess you just put the plastic pieces, do they go in the feet in the bottom, or you just put these in a Ziploc bag?
Yeah, put them in a Ziploc baggie. It's kind of like your accessory box that's no longer needed once you install it.
Okay, so we're gonna be building in the 900.
Yes.
Big boy here. So let me get this out of the way, and then let's go ahead and start getting some build stuff in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I know we talked about the case already a bunch. A couple things, this is my first time looking at it. So some nuances you talked about. I love the fact that obviously the bottom and top fan and radiator mounts are hulked down from the factory. They are thumb screws that are removable brackets. There are 3 meters of RGB lighting in this case. So you see these 4 channels on the top, they follow down the front. I know Phil's really far away and it's backwards, I apologize. The new studio will have a better layout for Phil to get up close, don't worry, things we've thought about. And my first question to you was, okay, so obviously there's only so many lights that a channel can handle when it comes to standard RGB, but there is a controller / splitter at the bottom. Correct. And on the top that are different channels. Correct. So that's kind of neat. I think that's awesome. You're lucky if you get a case now that gives you 1 fan / RGB splitter. This one gives you 2.
This one does give you 2. And then it also has the ability, because you have 6 ports on the bottom and 6 ports on top, if you need to put in more than 9 fans, you could theoretically put 12 on there with just what's included.
Dual chamber designs like this, I feel like the best airflow is, yeah, you can pull air in here, but I feel like top to bottom is perfect for that. That way, because this would also be a perfect case for what I just showed, which was the Singularity Computers 360 power board, which is designed to go on dual chamber cases that have a 360 mount next to the motherboard. So it's really neat. The guys at Singularity Computers come up with awesome stuff. So that could go here, 3 intakes on the bottom. And these are reverse blades. You could just move them to the bottom and then have your exhaust on the top with the AIO. But normally you would have like a quick release side mount fan filter or out the front or something. So what we're talking about is the fact that it's actually held in there by these feet.
So it's actually, the feet are mounted on the bottom. That's actually why you couldn't pull it off. So the entire part of the case.
Okay, so the whole thing comes off, and that's part of this quick release screw right
Correct, here. Yeah. So you have to kind of take the entire piece of the case off in order to remove that fan
There
filter.
It is right there. And then it snaps in once it's off. Okay, so that is unfortunately a compromise of the design, but so if you're using intakes on the bottom and you get dust and such there, then I'll line up those tabs. Then you just gotta tilt it on its back like this to be able to clean it. So keep in mind when it comes to cable tensions and links and stuff on the back when you're cable managing. All right, so a couple of questions I had for you. Tell me about BeQuiet's beginnings. What was the first, do you know what the first product was they came out with?
Well, one of the first things that they wanted to do was make a fan that wasn't loud. Right. I think there was actually a joke about how one of the founder's wives was constantly complaining about his computer being so loud all the time. Right. Okay. And she kept telling him, "Be quiet."
So it has a pretty universal origin story of why is your computer so loud?
Exactly. So they started off with creating a fan that was one of the best fans that had been on the market. Right. Mm-hmm. And then they just wanted to continue improving from there. So anything from their cases, their fans, their power supplies, the coolers, everything is still based off of that quiet design, with the caveat of this one maybe. This one might have a little bit more.
Well, there's no sound dampening material. There's a lot of ventilation.
Exactly.
And that's the thing is you have a design compromise between ventilation and acoustic.
Exactly, and that's kind of like the same battle that you have with the RGB fans, right? With everyone making different types of RGB fans, we kind of took the opposite route where we had a fan that was amazing, that performed really well, and then we added RGB to it, which isn't typically the process, right?
I think BeQuiet might have been one of the last to the RGB market.
Absolutely, especially the white fans. Oh my goodness, that's only like a couple years old type deal.
Yeah.
But again, we wanted to make a fan that was, even if it's RGB and it's flashy and everything like that, the lights can be loud, but the actual fan itself needs to be quiet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm one of those people that I use RGB fans as my lighting in the case. I don't do strips or anything like that. But it's kind of nice that you guys were able to come up with a design that still stays true to the heritage. Because I mean, most of the acoustic design comes from these like ridges that are in the blades.
That's part of it, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got the ridges on the blades, you've got the bearing that's actually inside the fan itself, you've got the tolerances between the actual blade edges and the frame of the fan, and then you've also got the back side of the fan and how the frame of that is now affecting the airflow too. So all of those things we actually take into consideration, especially when it comes to engineering these products, to make a completely silent fan in a cooling solution for you.
So we're doing a white build, as you can see. This is an Aorus Elite AX Ice, which is white. It has an Intel 14900K.
It does.
The timing on that is interesting, especially since we are, y'all know.
Okay. Anyways, all right, so.
Y'all know. We also got something new coming this month too, right? So anyway, besides that, so you can see the AIO has this nice like aesthetic design on there. It's got these kind of 45 ridges in there. So when it comes to the design though of the AIO, permeation or the evaporation through the tubing, any rubber tubing is going to evaporate through some degree. And that's the number one killer of AIOs. The coolant starts to evaporate slowly over time, years usually is what it takes. Then the air starts to make its way to the pump, then the pump cavitates, and then the pump dies. That is the number one reason for an AIO to die. It's not the electronics, it's just the fact that most AIOs, you cannot top them off. However, you can see the light loop, which is what's called, right? The 360 light loop, comes with additional glycol coolant. And you might be asking yourself, well, where does that go? So
it allows you to fill from both parts. If you tilt it up that way, and most of the water should now be flowing all the way down to
right, so you can get the pump lowest position.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. I wanna see.
There's also gonna be Hexide underneath there too.
But I'm wondering, do they give us a spare sticker?
Oh, that's a good.
Yes, 2 of them.
Wow.
What do you know? So I'm gonna just rip this sucker off.
Sometimes
there it is. Doesn't even look bad with it off, to be honest, because it's stainless steel.
Oh, it's stainless steel, yeah.
There you go. So you have 2 options. I bet you anything that's where the company does the vacuum fill.
My gosh, yeah.
And I bet you that's the perfect spot, because now you can put the pump at the bottom, all the air can come up, and you can top it off right there. Let's do the shake test. I hear like maybe 2 tiny bubbles.
There's a little bit in there.
If you hear, it's time to do it.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that's awesome. I reviewed, I don't know how many AIOs. I've seen ones that come with the ability to, like sometimes they put it on the pump, which is a terrible idea.
That's awful. That's
awful idea. Because that means the pump's at the highest point right there, and even if you're trying to top it off there, you're never gonna get all the air out.
No, absolutely not. And I knew though that this particular model, right out of the box when you install it, it will have that water gushing effect, right? Because it does shake.
All AIOs do.
All AIOs do. But
we could pick up the tower, lean it over, put it back up, and you'd still hear the sloshing when you start it. But the thing is, the air will make its way to the highest point, and if it's like this, then the highest point is going to be probably a millimeter worth of the top of the rows of the rad, but you still have flow through all of them.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's get this installed. Pretty simple. Looks like we already have the brackets on there.
Yep, absolutely.
And then just 2 hold-down screws in the center, and then don't forget to take this off. We even get extra BeQuiet stickers for the.
Well, there's a reason for it, Jay.
Okay.
Well, what happens if you invert your case?
Well, then your stickers are upside down.
Everything's upside down.
And then people like Phil and I get super triggered.
Right. So all of the other manufacturers' stuff will be upside down, but ours won't.
Let's see how much torque this can take before it strips. All right, so we got the case fans and stuff in, but this is kind of a perfect example as to why the reverse blade stuff exists. So unfortunately, we didn't have the reverse blade ones for the bottom.
But the whole point is to have the reverse blade fans so it looks prettier, right? So you don't get the back side of the fan. That's actually why we have these installed in the case, and that's why they come with it. But in this situation, because we're going to do the case in a horizontal layout, having it flow from the side, from one side to the other is going to be an incredible air system inside of that case.
And you could just relocate these to the bottom if you wanted. I'm the kind of person that acoustics for me are secondary to performance. So I would certainly want, like, I have an ideology that there's a spot for a fan, it should have a fan there. That's the way I look at it. So that's kind of nice. We could also too, if we were doing horizontal, almost full positive pressure and flip this fan around.
Yeah,
or do a reverse fan there, so it would be intakes, 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 and then all 3 exhausts going through the rad.
It would be going through the rad. Yeah.
And there would be so much fresh air intake that no amount of like GPU heat and stuff would really adversely affect the AIO temps.
Absolutely. I mean, the amount of heat soak that's going to be inside the case is going to be little to none.
That's why large cases heat soak slower and they have a better volume exchange of air. That's why ITX cases, and you take a small, tiny ITX case and you put all kinds of fans in there that you can fit, people go, why does it still get so hot? It's like, well, because you have no volumetric space inside to give you a bigger cubic feet or cubic millimeters, whatever. Mm-hmm. So the bigger amount of air you have inside there, the better overall cooling you're gonna have.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, I do like the horizontal layout personally. So it kind of has me wondering now, because these are intakes, these are exhaust, this is exhaust, and these are intakes. I won't flip this one around. That way we just keep the pretty side facing forward. I would love to see these reverse blades being sold independently.
And right now, unfortunately, we only have the ability to sell them with the case. So in the LX version and in the FX version, whether it's the 900 or the 600, it does come with.
Is that just a quantity problem right now?
I think it's more along the lines of the supply and demand. We haven't had a demand for it yet, right? And now that you're asking for it, I've asked.
I think this is the next this is the next evolution of fans, is more companies offering reverse blade. Because I think the more people see how much nicer it looks, you're gonna have that. Because I think people that are shopping in this category product category already are more niche buyers. They're more enthusiasts. They're probably looking for something in the upper echelon of of aesthetics, and that matters to them. Mm-hmm. So I could see this selling well to the buyer that's building this system.
I think that they've really come a long way, especially with the design and the fact that we've created a reverse blade fan that doesn't actually have a significant decrease in performance. I'm thinking, what I've heard is it's like a 2% difference.
And just reversing the blades?
And just reversing the blades.
I'm surprised there's any difference.
Well, there's a little bit because you have to pull that air through the frame. Right?
But it has to push it through the frame too.
Yeah, you have to push it through the frame too. So there really isn't that much of a difference.
Unless it's just because the frame is so close to the swept side so you're dealing with that percentage of blockage, right?
Exactly. Which is again minimal at best. But
see, again, I'm the kind of person that's shallow enough to go, I'll take the 2% hit, run the fans a little faster to have it look like that versus the cage.
Exactly.
So I also noticed something here, is I wanted to talk about the GPU support. As you can see, obviously we're going to be putting a 4080 Super here. This is the Vulcan from iGame, which is colorful, big white PCB, 4080, 4090 giant thing. So we got an anti-sag support, which is nice. But I'm looking at this going, there's a screw right here that you have to use to loosen it for that rail. I'm like, how do we get to it? And I realized you had this big channel milled in the back. Yep. So you can easily take, the screwdriver, push it through the backside, and then loosen that up, move it to the height you need, and tighten it back down. This is obvious that you can tell when a case manufacturer designs a case and then just ships it versus builds in the prototypes and then goes, oh, that's an afterthought. We probably should change that. And here's the thing, little things like that, any bend or cut or tooling that takes place with these steel frames adds to the cost. And that's why cases, unfortunately these days, cost more. But you guys also have all of the Project Zero and BTF support. Yep. So all those cost.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we wanted to make sure that not only were we releasing a new case, but a case that was kind of foolproof for going forward, right? Yeah. I mean, some of the other manufacturers have a case similar to like this that's been out for a long time, right? Now that we're kind of a little bit later to the game to when ours gets released, we still want to be able to make sure that it's going to last for not only this series, but the next series and the next 3-4 series to come, right?
Yeah. I will let you put the graphics card in since I've been hogging this build, but have you seen this GPU before?
No, actually, to be perfectly honest with you, this is a new one.
Do you know what's in here?
No. What is that?
This is a magnetic screen. Here we go. I'll let you enjoy this.
Well, now because I haven't seen this one before, to be perfectly honest with you, this is a new one. All of the
I forgot to point this out too. If you don't want to use it on your GPU, you can put it on your desk.
Whoa!
And then the screen. We reviewed this, so if you guys haven't seen this review, go and check it out. But then you can throw this right on your desk.
Okay, that's cool. That's worth it. I would buy it just for that.
Yeah.
That's a silly thing, but that's me.
I like. See, this is the. How do you take a boring industry right now that's copy paste on most products and make it different? You do that and you charge $900 for it.
I mean, you know.
Like I said, this is Northern Bavarian type of GPU right here.
Dear Lord. Okay, so this is an RTX 4080 Super Vulkan WOC 16 gig. And then where does that thing go? Whoa.
So it can go right there.
It's just got little
if
pogo
it's horizontal, or if it's vertical.
Is it vertical? No, it can't. Really? Wow. Oh, there's a little, and okay.
Turbo button.
Yes, all of you 66 megahertz guys out there, there's a turbo button on the back.
Wait. You gotta, you're dealing with royalty here. You gotta use the gloves. You gotta use the gloves. They come with gloves. You gotta use them.
How much is this?
Wait a minute. Wait, they're also from Asia, so. Oh no, they're stretchy. We're good.
Oh.
Actually.
Really?
All right, there we go. So this is the light base? Light base 900. I remember the number.
All right.
So there we go. We are going to horizontal. Oh, it's heavy now. There we go. Where's the glass?
Oh, that was hot.
I never savor the peels anymore. For the first time in forever. You can tell we're girl dads. Let's talk about ooh. You were telling me they're all synced as long as you use the hubs. Absolutely. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you saw this crazy pattern kind of happen.
The one thing that's not going to follow any of the patterns is the RGB because that needs motherboard control.
Correct.
But you can see the lighting follows all the way across.
And as you can see, the RGB patterns that are actually going across the entire system, they're the same. So they actually look the same and they're flowing the way that they're supposed to.
But you know, though, given the fact that the fans are all pretty much going full speed right now, it's not incredibly loud.
Quiet.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the brand is BeQuiet, not Pretty Quiet. Ooh, I like the ice blue look. That's cool. Especially in the white build. Like blue and teals, I'm blue and teal colorblind, look really good in white.
The white is pretty good.
So it does have its own color cycle mode.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, of course, yeah. So you can, make it do its pulsing. It will do, the breathing effect. Your light wraps and stuff like that.
The stripes look really, really good.
I mean, it does really make a difference when you put in the proper amount of LEDs and the right type of LEDs. My favorite is the purple. Like,
yeah, I have a
looks...
vaporwave at home. In my office at home, I have the like blue and purple vaporwave look because I've just really leaned into being a 1981 born specimen.
That's okay.
So it's one of those things where I'm like, you know what? Mostly because kids these days, here we go. Oh man, yells at cloud. Kids these days are like bringing the 80s and 90s back in their old style, minus the broccoli heads. I don't know where the hell that
stuff
came from. But everyone's like going retro for everything. And I'm like, you merely adopted the retro. I was born in it, so I'm taking it back. So if you want to bring it back too, you could also get your very own retro style melty 12 volt connector shirt. This one won't melt though, because BeQuiet would never let that happen. That's actually, I like this. And I also like the fact that the BeQuiet logo lights up. So if you have a horizontal, say like that, and this is what's facing you, look at that. That's what you'd be seeing. Dude, this feels like an old school, 80s IBM. Yeah. Like, I love this look. This is so nice.
To be honest with you, laying it flat in the horizontal layout has been my favorite way to present this PC, just because it's a nice look, and it brings you back to that older aesthetics, right? The older builders like you and myself that really put a lot of effort into making a case that was like your home theater case or your home theater PC look cool. And now, there it is.
One thing we didn't really mention though is there's a vertical mount kit available for this if you leave it upright. Yep. So this back panel right here is removable. So that'll be replaced with a vertical mount. Looks like you leave a pretty good amount of spacing between the glass and the fan intakes. Obviously, you wouldn't want to vertical mount it and then horizontal mount the case, and then you're just back to have the, then you'd be sagging the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, some people like to sag the wrong way, but that's okay. That's, you know, to each is their own, but I would not recommend doing that. Included with the case though, it does have the ability to do your vertical mount. You will have to purchase the riser cable that is separate, that comes from BeQuiet. We don't have a white one just yet. We are working on it, so we will have a white version of the...
There's something killing me about this right now though.
Uh-oh. Lay it on me. What do you got?
There needs to be another illuminated BeQuiet on the side with the power button. Because this is probably gonna be the side facing you in your desk because of the buttons. So it needs a BeQuiet illuminated like right here. I'm talking about this right here. So I feel like it needs one here or here.
Or maybe
now, if it was upright, it'd be the wrong way, but that's fine. I would take that, you know?
Yeah.
But
I agree. But what about if it was maybe etched on the glass?
that'd be neat, but it won't be as neat as being illuminated in this illuminated in this aluminium, the aluminium, or however they say it over there.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no 100% perfect case when it comes to this sort of stuff, because someone in the comments is like, no, I like it without the logo. So there you go. Who do you listen to? Obviously me. All right, so there we go. Just a little fun discussion with BeQuiet. It's been a long time. I haven't gone to any shows in a long time, so it's been a while since I've gotten to have any discussions about brand ideology and stuff. BeQuiet's a very recognizable brand. I feel like most people are receptive and positive to BeQuiet, so I thought it was important to kind of get you on, do a build, and just kind of a build and talk about the philosophies behind the company. Anything neat coming later in 2025 that we should maybe be excited for?
A lot of neat things. Nothing I can tell you, unfortunately.
I knew that was going to be the answer.
Yeah, sorry. That's the BeQuiet way, though. We don't tell anyone
Not
about
only
anything.
are they quiet, the fans, but they're quiet about their roadmaps. They're quiet about plans and projects. I can shut up too. No, I can't actually.
No, you can't. You'd be fired.
All right, Kevin, thanks for hanging out tonight.
Hey, thank you, Jay.
Or
Appreciate
today,
it.
whatever. Where's the beer?
We need more. Let's put it that way.